Hello everybody, my name is the Watching Relic, and welcome to the review for this fancy gold man. This is Rhook. So, sorry the white background is... I'm keeping that, I don't f***ing care. As I was saying, sorry the white background is wrinkled and covered in cat hair. Normally I clean it before I do these, but I haven't really been keeping up on taking all that good care of it because I don't find myself using it all that much anymore. But anyhow, talking about the MOC. Inspiration-wise, there's basically nothing to speak of. I think I pretty much just came up with that torso design, just kind of messing around with those big Hero Factory, like, beast paw pieces. And there's one on his front, one on his back, all the little Exoforce arms kind of acting as the connective tissue. I was liking that, and everything just kind of sprouted from there. As far as character is concerned, and story, he's pretty much your stereotypic crazy villain, just the crazy, unpredictable one that's perfect for lazy writing. I apologize, but yeah, the general plot is that he was like a soldier, and that he broke off from whatever faction he was a part of and then became a hitman or an assassin. And yeah, it's kind of a cool idea because you get the Space Marine kind of vibes with his build. I think he'd be like a designated gunman or maybe a sniper with the weapon that he has. And then he kind of turns around and uses that for evil. I mean, it's not like it's crazy original, but I like it. I don't know. As far as his personality goes, it's definitely a lazy, crazy personality that's rather undeveloped at this point in time, so there's not really much need to go into it. Let's get straight into the design. So, according to a certain purple boy here on the internet, hand connectors, quote, never work for feet, not even for Kronos Omega, who is a master over on the Flickr for anyone who doesn't know who he is. I disagree with this purple boy, evidently since I used hand connectors, but I definitely see where the complaint lies. I mean, these are pretty weird looking feet. One of the things that is kind of a product of using these types of pieces as feet is they end up being very flat. And that's primarily why I used them, because just for height and proportional reasons, he needed pretty flat feet so that he'd have the right leg length to torso length kind of ratio going. And so, you know, these are just one pin length high, so that worked out. But yeah, I mean, he kind of looks like he has one giant malformed toe in the middle of his foot. I mean, who doesn't? Yeah, they're not the greatest pieces for feet. Maybe a smaller... custom foot design would have been nice, but it's hard to do that and just have it be one pin length high. And one of the problems with this guy, before I kind of revamped him to get him out there, he's been a work in progress for a long time, and he's only recently been worth posting, which is why I finally posted him. And one of the issues I had with him for a long time is that he was too tall, and it was just resulting in so many weird proportional and design problems. And so I definitely was trying to get a more compact look and a more overall compacted, trimmed down design, streamlined design, and these just worked out for that. As far as the legs are concerned, I like the legs. The upper legs are simple as all get out, but I think they worked out nicely. The piece that's used to connect this sticks out a little. It's one of, get out of here, piece. This is just gonna fall off, so, yeah. The piece that's used is, if I can show you all here, it's this thing, where it's a little pin with a stud on it, and then the lightsaber bar going back. And it's a really useful piece for achieving this specific connection, but it does stick out a bit on the back. I could trim it, but I don't really care to. It doesn't bug me all that much. He has some pretty thick thighs and some pretty wide hips. They almost look feminine, but I think they're so blocky. He doesn't really have curves. It's like very truly blocky looking, so I think that works out. Overall, a simple but effective look. Talking about the lower leg specifically, it's kind of gappy from the side actually, but I don't mind it too much. I think it's fine to have these pieces be a little gappy since they're quite clearly supposed to be armor, whereas the black is supposed to be his skin, I think. Of course, if that's the case, then he goes everywhere barefoot. What a badass. Anyhow, I do like the look of this, though. I mean, again, yeah, from the side it's not great, but overall it fits together fairly solidly. and just this double up on CCBS armor on the front with the Modifoot underneath, the Modifoot being the primary kind of structural base for it all. I think it's kind of a nice, like, simple custom design that utilizes a lot of interesting pieces, or maybe not interesting pieces, but utilizes a lot of pieces in somewhat interesting, quite effective ways. Very bulky calves with the skull spider pieces, but yeah, I don't know. I just like the look of this. I think it works out with his feet as well. Something about that just flows nicely. The legs, like all of this MOC really, are simple, but I'm happy with how they turned out. And there's also some neat, like, things going on here. Like, first of all, I love taking advantage of this, like, clip bar connection with a little Exoforce hand in there that just goes like that. Like, that's a connection I didn't even know existed for a while, even though I know a lot of people use that, so that's always nice to take advantage of. This is also a design that has an exposed socket that isn't, like, glaring or obvious because of this armor piece primarily that kind of covers it up. So that's nice. It's great to use a Modifoot for something, or any piece with an exposed socket where it's not god-awful to look at. Talking about the waist, well, let's get this piece on that fell off a second ago. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at the design. That's a good idea. So the waist is not a Vaki or a Nika waist. It's a totally custom waist, which is kind of a rarity for me, but I think it turned out fairly nice. It's kind of blocky, but it's all right, especially once all the armor is on there. And wow, the front is coming off too. I hate life. Anyhow, as you can see, we have like these little Technic bits in there that are like kind of the two pinholes with then the axle hole down below running the other way. You can probably just about tell what pieces those are, and they fill up that pretty nicely, and they create this interesting kind of tube or cylinder texture going on here. That's nice. And then we just have a lightsaber rod through there that attaches a CCBS thing on the front. Somehow, does it go like this? Yes, it does, doesn't it? I don't even remember how my MOC is built. And then on the back, it attaches an Nika armor, and neither of them stay on that well, because it's just like, it's a 4-long bar, and it just needs to be like 4 1/4, and that'd be perfect. As it is, it doesn't quite, just, one of the things will always be loose. Like, if it's all the way inserted into an opening in one piece, then it's not going to be really connecting the other one all the way. So that can be annoying. His stomach and or lower back likes to pop off, but I don't see a foreseeable way to fix that unless I cut down a rod or a lightsaber bar, like, really specifically. So it's fine. It's actually the only real delicate part on him. Talking about the chest, the upper torso as a whole, I like this. Like I said, it's kind of where most of the MOC originates from design-wise. Just this big piece on the chest and then the same one on the back connected to each other. I mean, this one is connected with a ball joint to the torso, this front one. But then the back one is just connected via these Exoforce arms to the front one, and that's the only connection point for it, kind of wrapping back around both sides of the neck. Like, that's cool. I like how that worked out. It's a unique connection. And there's so many connection points, and they're basically all utilized here to attach these weird shoulder things. I don't really know what these would be. I guess we can put his head down now, since you've seen the little bit under his neck there. And you can even see more clearly if I lift up everything for a second. Yeah, there you go. It's this piece, Exoforce arm, Exoforce hand, clipping onto the back one. That's it. And that's neat. It's neat to attach simple pieces in unorthodox ways, I suppose. And then these big shoulder bits, they have a lot of different places they can move. Pretty much all these little bits here with the barb or claw pieces can move individually. This can wiggle. So there's a lot of like little adjustments that can be made to just make it look like these are kind of pulsating and shifting around as he moves and moves around his shoulders and head and whatnot. So that's kind of cool. And then, I don't know, these big hoses in the back are all right. Not the greatest detail. I really like how they look as like a backing texture for this piece. Then sticking out, they're a little less attractive, but it's fine. And then we have the little grate up here with a little antennae. The antenna might be kind of unnecessary. I don't know. There might be a better like form of greebling to go for on these little system bits, and you can see just how that's connected. It's just this wedge plate with some stuff on it. And then this Technic piece with 2 of the 3 long axles with studs. Very, very simple, but works out well. And then the way these kind of work is like a collar sort of design. It all just looks really nice to me. I like how this all turned out. And yeah, it wasn't even on the original MOC. I mean, these were like the collar pieces and stuff and the general like chest design. But these big shoulder parts were added later when I kind of added the gun and went for more of this sci-fi soldier look. I just wanted to do something unique. I don't know. Originally it was going to be more of like a jetpack thing, but I don't even know what they represent now, to be honest. Maybe some sort of fuel source, or maybe they have these antennas. Maybe they can flip out. Maybe these are these really big, like, just advanced, like, sensor arrays on his, like, spacesuit. I have no clue. Alright, so finally we come to the head. The head actually existed before this MOC did. This head has been sitting around for a while, and while it's not my favorite part of the MOC, I do like it. It's simple as all get out. If I take off the skull spider piece, you can see exactly how it's built underneath there. Let me get the light on that. Yeah, there you go. That's that. I mean, that's how that's done. It's this big translucent blue disc piece, and then this little Technic piece put into it with a Technic cam on the bottom, attached to a hand connector, and then there's a little Technic piece back there that's just super simply connecting this phone or walkie-talkie or whatever that is for like a little antenna. God, why can't I pronounce antennae? What? It's a noodle. Shut up. Anyhow, I think that looks nice. I think it adds to kind of the Space Marine look. A little bit of maybe a communications system. I think that's neat. And then you put the Skull Spider piece on, and it does, as soon as you put on the Skull Spider mask, this starts to disconnect a little, so you have to make sure that, like, you push this back a little and just make sure it's solid. It's not too bad or anything. In terms of stability, although it can sometimes shatter a little bit when you're moving it. Just a little bit of complete explosiveness is all. It's nice though. It's actually quite nice. I like when pieces fit together well that weren't intended to, and the way that Skull Spider mask fits over this to make it look like kind of a high-tech like visor sort of helmet thing. Yeah, the way that turned out, I really dig the way that actually looks. All in all, like I said earlier, I think this MOC is simple, but I'm happy with it. I think this is yet another MOC that's a good sort of reminder that you can make something that it has a solid appearance and even some kind of nice, memorable, interesting designs that's not out of this world complicated. You know, this guy, all in all, is not that complicated. The custom torso underneath the chest, in fact, I didn't even show this, but I'm gonna, because it's just... This is one of the most simple custom torsos I've done. I think it's worth taking some time to actually show it. If I pop this off... Oh dear. There we go. Look at that. It's just like a big, flat pile of Technic. It's totally flat. You're just filling up space on the pin-length grid. And, yeah, this is not going to be done on camera. Oh my god, that was such a struggle. I am never doing that again for any reason. So, I guess the last thing to comment on is the colors. Some people said, hey, that spring green is just so unevenly distributed across the MOC. There's only 3 pieces of it. Ah! Personally, I think it's fine. I think it just complements the other colors so well that even with very minimal usage of it, it looks alright. It's pretty similar to the white as well, so it kind of blends in. Would it be better with more? Certainly. And I plan to add more in the future. I don't have much of it, so that's all I could do for now. That's basically everything I have to say on this guy. So let's bring in the size comparisons. We got the minifigures. Duncan Bulk has no arms. And we also we have Natalie Breeze. Gresh has been dismantled as well. The size comparisons are finally getting torn apart for pieces. And before we go here, I just want to give a little bit of a teaser for the next MOC that you will be seeing on this channel. So my name was The Watching Relic. This was Rhook. That's a person that you'll see soon. And I will see you all next time.